are under 25 years of age. That's a very young country, 65% under 25. So, you know, when you think about what that grouping might want to see for their future, it seems to me to augur a little bit of hope that leadership could arise. And I think Afghans in diaspora have a right to be heard as well.
And I think they can contribute a lot because, you know, they've had the chance to go and get educated. You know, that's the most important thing. And I feel like that's my request for youths here in the Western world, Afghans, is don't forget about Afghanistan. And if you do choose to forget, you know, everyone has the right to do so, then you cannot complain about it. That's my biggest thing, if you can't contribute to it. But I feel like Afghans who are abroad, right now, I feel like they're trying, you know, to contribute back in a positive manner, whether it's writing, you know, whether it's getting in touch with these youths over there who are hoping to do something, you know. And if they don't hear back from other people who are willing to encourage their peaceful movement, after a while, they're just going to lose hope, just like it has happened previously. So I definitely support that.
One thing I think might be very interesting is to try to have a film festival. There's some wonderful films coming out of Afghanistan, and I know that, Rain, where are you? There you are. Your dad has a film as well, right?
Shadow of Afghanistan.
Shadow of Afghanistan. So that might be one thing. Another thing I think, just to sort of do outreach here in your own local community, maybe do a blood drive. People don't get mad at people who do blood drives. Donate the blood locally, but do so in memory of people who've been killed in Afghanistan. And certainly having the booths on display is very, very important. If anyone wants to do a Skype phone call with the Afghan Youth Peace Volunteers, they would be thrilled. They wrote me this morning, "Can we meet your new friend?" Yeah, they were so excited about that. Yeah. And then I think there are many, many videos that this group has created, and maybe you could just have a small evening with videos being shown just as a house meeting kind of event. There are lots of ways, I think, to encourage younger people in our own midst to feel more connected. One is to encourage young people to learn Pashto and learn Dari. And it's hard for someone like me, it kind of goes in one ear and out the other. I'm older, but young people can learn quickly. So maybe you want to help to send people to language school. These are just some local things that can help us to build connections. Thank you.
One of my local heroes is David Swanson, and I guess he spent some time with him in Afghanistan. But one of the things, I guess I'm asking you as the elite of activists, what do you think is going to be most effective with our congressmen? David wrote, okay, you know, recently Afghanistan war funding was passed, 21% of our Congress voted against it. 66% of the people are against us being in Afghanistan. So by that reasoning, 195% of the public would have to be against the war in Afghanistan in order for Congress to vote accordingly. You know, right? I've done, you know, Bobby Scott was a great disappointment. He voted for the continued funding after vouching he would not vote for more war funding. What is the word on the street of what's most effective with these corporate money takers?
Well, it's certainly true. 60% or more, it's even gone up as high as 75% in some polls, disapprove of the war, believe the war is futile. But at the exit polls in the midterm elections, this curious statistic, only 3% of people said that the war was a political issue. So that's our job. How do we turn the war into a political issue? It seems to me that the defense spending shouldn't be so difficult to challenge. You know, we're living in a time when people don't want to see taxes raised. Okay. Their wealth and productivity is being spent predominantly on the military. And however are we going to build infrastructure, education, and healthcare here? It just doesn't compute. So it shouldn't be, it seems to me, so difficult if we keep on framing the issues and being insistent. And I suppose, again, I'm drawing from my own experience that we cared very, very much in Chicago about issues related to Central America. I lived in the poorest neighborhood in Chicago, and all these Central American refugees were coming to our neighborhood. Nobody in their right mind, except the do-gooders ghetto, would come to our neighborhood on purpose. It was a mess. And so why were all these Central Americans coming in? And then Roy Bourgeois moved into our neighborhood. You know, we started to learn from him and other missionaries what was happening in Central America. I clearly remember the first time I met Kathleen, and I was just in awe because she really understood what was happening in this area of Central America. So we started working on it in Chicago. And every Wednesday night, for a large circle of people who were my friends and cohorts, we either went to our local meeting on Central America, and on the next Wednesday we went to the downtown citywide meeting. And on our summers, almost everybody I knew, if you were a teacher, you went down to Central America and you either picked coffee or you went to language school or you tried to live with some people whose lives were at risk. We all had crash rooms in our homes in case there was a Central American refugee who needed a place to stay. People were learning Spanish regularly. What I'm saying is that there was a vigor within the peace movement that said caring about Central America was crucial in our lives. I don't understand it. Caring about Iraq never became crucial. The invasion happened. 500,000 children were killed by our economic sanctions. Probably 1 million more were killed in our war. The bombs, it was a horrible war. I was there all through the bombing in Baghdad, why don't we have that level of care? I was in Gaza, and the United States supported Israel in that bombing. A bomb exploded once every 11 minutes, day after day. And you come back to this country, and it's just kind of Promethean almost to get people to care. And now we're in Afghanistan 10 years, and we don't find that same level. But something has developed in our country. And I think the warmongers very wisely got their hands on much of the internet advertising, on much of the television advertising, and watched what people are going to care about this season. Here we are living in a country that was formed ostensibly because people no longer believed in royal blood, and you're going to find the whole country glued to what Kate wears to her wedding. It doesn't make any sense. How can it be that we're so caught up in sports and entertainment? There's no let-up, you know, it's not the Oscars, it's some football game, and after that it's basketball. You know, give me soccer moms. I want them. I want the soccer moms. I want that energy. I want that ability to get the kids to the soccer game and bring the treats and sit out there and watch the game and get excited about it. Put that into saving our environment. Oh my gosh. But it's all been kind of hijacked. Energy has been hijacked into sports and entertainment like there's no tomorrow. And I think looking at most of you in this church right now, when you were kids, nobody set up a play date for you. You went out and played kick the can, you rode your bicycle as far as you could, when you heard your mother saying, "Come on home!" you came home, and you were happy. But the style today has got everything to do with getting in the vehicle and spending more money on gas and taking the kids here and there. And, you know, we could actually free up so much of our time. I mean, think about weddings. You could drop out. You don't have to have your life dominated when you graduate from a university with going to wedding after wedding after wedding. They're extremely expensive. They're not all that much fun. You just don't couple with somebody and couple party. But people go nuts over weddings, and then Christmas. Oh my gosh! It's so it's staggering to me that Christmas has become such a representation of the national religion of shopping. It doesn't have to be that way. People could drop out. The 50s were a generation that gave no indication that the 60s were coming around the corner. And you can say what you want about the 60s. I know there could be many takes, but people did drop out of a lot of the expected mainstream ways of doing things, and it was unexpected. So that's part of my hope, that the peace movement will come into its own, that people will start saying to one another, this makes no sense to keep these wars going, and to be so caught up in acting like big children ourselves that we can't make a world that's safe for the real children. So I mean, maybe that sounds a little bit harsh. I don't mean it to, and I really want to remember with you that I was a late bloomer, for sure, who had almost zero interest in stopping the Vietnam War. So I know what it means to sit one out. But I think we can get over some of the insistence about being part of a consumer culture.